Okay, closet doors. The most popular door we sell is probably this here. Just 3 or 4 panels of white glass. Mine's a little bit older here. The white glass that we currently use is a little bit whiter than that, but it's still not as white as white acrylic. And so
same.
You can see a little bit of green in our white glass. So if somebody wants paper white, it has to be the
Ты знаешь, believe it or not, I had several clients who wanted a little greenish look.
Yeah, it's natural for some reason. Humans like that little bit of greenish. We've grown used to it, and so it's unnatural when something is stark paper white. As far as so the closet doors are assembled here in the U.S. from German materials. Ram Plus is the manufacturer of all the hardware, aluminum, and basically all the fittings except for the panels themselves. From there, we can do, as you can see, I've got a bunch of different layouts in my showroom, but basically any combination of glass, wood, and then we've got that printer in New York that can do some crazy stuff there. I generally recommend at least having one divider in the door because it is part of the door structure. If we don't put a divider in, theoretically you can pull a door from side to side and get the glass to pop out. So generally at least one divider is good. Too many dividers gets it does cost us probably about $10 or $15 per divider during with labor and materials. And so the website is basically set up to charge per divider. Pricing wise, a 2-door set on 2 tracks, which is just super minimal tracks, top and bottom. A 2-door set should run about $1,000 to $1,500 for the huge units. Like 48 by 80 might be right at about $1,000. If we're talking about 96 by say 6 feet or 7 feet, 96 tall, 7 feet wide, that would probably be about $1,300 or $1,400. And if we start talking about the 9 foot tall, 10 foot tall, then it really needs to be maybe even above $1,500 a little bit, because honestly, those customers are not going to find anyone else to build them something that big for a decent price. Maximum widths are basically limited by materials. This system with the floor tracks, they have a really high weight limit. I think it's over 100 or 75 kilos or 80 kilos or something like that. So there's basically no way we can fill it up with panels. Their official limit, I believe, is 60 inches, but our glass comes in, I think, at 48 inches wide. The wood panels come in at either 1 meter, which is 39 inches, or 48 inches wide. And so it's usually, at that point, it's usually a limit by what the material size available is. But I generally don't like to go above 42 inches. They just get too ridiculously, too hard to ship in one piece. And they just get ridiculous large. I try to stop at 42 inches, but depending on the material, especially if we go to acrylic, which is really lightweight, acrylic, we can go larger. And so my doors here are made from acrylic, and I have this panel here, which is, I believe, 5.5 feet, but this is stationary, but it's just plastic, so it doesn't really matter. But weight-wise, it's not an issue with acrylic. So the standard variations are basically a 2-door, 2-track setup, which I have there. The 3-door, 3-track setup is very popular. My tracks are black, but they will be matching color of the doors. And then these little clips here, that's standard. We ship with pretty much all the doors. They provide a little stop for the door to live in. That's where their home position should be. There should be one on the ends here. I haven't bothered installing them, but that's something we generally standard with all the doors. So there's a separate video I'll send to everybody about just the closet doors. that I made a while ago that goes into a little bit more. But basically, it's the regular, this profile here, the 751 profile. That's the standard door that we have. Black and silver are usually in stock. Right now we have some white as well. And
Сколько
then,
ты заказал white, Antosh?
I want to say 24 doors worth, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
So, and the white is kind of a glossy white, smooth. The black is textured. It's got a little bit of a rough matte look to it. So the 751 profiles, that's this round one. It's also the one that we use for bifolds. Bifold maximum size is about 54 inches for a 2-panel system like this. It doesn't really work well at those sizes, though. I'd really limit it closer, 48 or so. And so you can have a 4-door bifold that's 8 feet or even 9 feet would be the absolute maximum. Height-wise, same thing. There's not really a limit. They say to limit it at 9 feet, but I theoretically there shouldn't be any limit to that. The bifolds and the pivot doors, mine's not mounted, but the ones that are just basically a swing door, open that up. So it's just got a hinge point here, and it's just a single door. Holds it back up. So bifold and pivots, the measurement has to be perfect for us. They do not have any adjustment built in whatsoever, and so if it's even a quarter inch off, they're going to have to either shim it or cut drywall or something. The regular sliding doors are pretty forgiving. There's about a ½ inch at least of a height adjustment, and then width-wise, it doesn't really matter because the doors will just overlap a little bit more or a little bit less. And then the last product we have is the top hung doors, the S1200 system. You see it's a smaller, thinner, square profile. It has no floor tracks. Generally have a soft closer. It's considered a premium system for Ram Plus. But otherwise, it's the same thing. They can have multiple panels. They can have multiple dividers and so on.
I have a question. Can I ask, please?
Yeah.
How these kind of doors stay in a position since they're not attached to the bottom?
There's a floor guide.
Oh, there's a floor guide. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So
They are still a little bit flimsy.
yeah. So if you don't have the floor guide, then the door can flap all over the place.
Right.
That's
part of my question.
Yeah, and so and even with the floor guide, mine's also acrylic, so it's extra flexible. But
can you actually install floor guides the way so door will be always in a contact with the floor guide and never get out of the position?
Correct. So yeah, when using a lot of people ask to use these as room dividers. It doesn't really work because the door is limited in travel that it can go all the way to the right of the floor guide or all the way to the left. I just don't have a door stop up there, which is why mine can go past it, but that should be the last place it stops. And so you can't have 3 doors, like you can't do a setup like this where all the doors open to one side or anything like that. If somebody wants a room divider, this system, this regular closet system works great, but it will have this floor track, which is, it's only a 1/4 inch tall, so it's pretty minimal. But unfortunately, we're kind of fighting the laws of physics at that point. Price-wise, like I said, about $1,000 to $1,500 for a 2-door set of regular sliding doors. Bifolds should be about $700 for a tiny one, up to $1,000 for a larger unit. 3 doors on 3 tracks should be $1,800, $2,200 to $2,200. And these S1200 systems, it really depends on how they're mounted. So mine is ceiling mounted here, but you can mount them as barn doors or as bypass closet doors if I have a track on my second one. And so it depends on how it's mounted. Generally starting about $1,000 per door, and then up to $1,500 per door if it's in a larger barn door setup for just a single door. Versus the price I gave for the closet doors were either doubles, singles, or doubles. Doubles or triples. Any questions about closets?
Okay.
Brooklyn doors, they have not German profiles, and they priced $1,200 per single sliding doors. I mean, like 2 doors, $1,200. Just for your information.
Yeah, so the Brooklyn location may need to give more discounts or something like that. I have the sliding door company here in California, which is it's a Chinese manufacturer, but it's probably the better Chinese stuff that's available. And our prices usually end up being about within 10% of each other. And so, but to sell these doors, you really got to have a customer actually move them, because there's just because Ram Plus gets their bearings from Switzerland. It's the actual movement of the doors that will sell them, really.
It's installed properly.
Yes, if it's installed. Same thing with the bifold. This is the only door I've ever seen in America that you can open and close with a pinky as a bifold. So there's just no good bifold systems, I think, available in America. Any other questions about closets?
No.
So this is just the stuff that we have in stock that I talked about. There's a giant catalog of Ram Plus products, including the closet organizers that I can't seem to get finished up here that got started. They have office, cubicle dividers, and so on. We don't keep it in stock, but Ram Plus North America might. They have a warehouse out there in New Jersey, I think about an hour and a half from our warehouse. They don't keep that much in stock, but they have their own shipments, so we can probably order some things in and not have a crazy lead time either. Color-wise, also, if you've noticed, a lot of my other samples are different colors. They do have a rainbow of aluminum colors available as well, about a dozen. But those would have to be special order, and it's kind of pain for us because we have to order the track, the middle divider, the bottom, and etc. So it's a bunch of little pieces that need to be ordered. But generally for colors, we should be charging a little bit extra for anyways because it's more expensive. But any other color, we should be upcharging about 20%. All right. Vlad, do you want to pause and save that part so
Yeah.
they get broken up by section basically?